Jai Hare Krishna. A very colorful background. Is that your painting? Do you paint?
Yes, Kanesh. Hey, Davy. I'm trying to figure out how to get it off. I had my art class this morning and we're putting our paintings on as our backgrounds. So I'm like, how do I change this? It's my take on Gauguin.
Very good.
I have friends here with me tonight.
Nice.
My cousin is here and my dear friend who's my spiritual sister. We've all see, they can't see you because of the background. Yeah.
Because of the background, yeah.
Because of the background. So I'm going to see if I can change it.
There is an arrow next to the camera, the video, and then you choose virtual background.
I got it. There we go. We're good. Hey, Lila.
Hi.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Get back to this.
Good morning, obeisances Maharaj, and Jai Gauranga Prabhu here also. So good.
Well done, Jai Gauranga Prabhu. For you, it's not a bad time. It's the afternoon. And here, I'm reminded of going to see Srila Gurudev early in the morning, where sometimes we are doing many things in the previous day in the evening and then having to get up, and then we come up to Gurudev in the morning and trying to just make a quick change from being in tamagun, fast asleep, to being alert and with Gurudev and ready to assist him in his, largely with at that time, correspondence and the management, things that are taking place in the temple. So it's 12 noon, it's exactly midday in Australia with Jai Gauranga Prabhu. And it is, I think, 5 hours, I mean, it's 11 o'clock at night, is it? I think in Brazil, with the Lila Moy Prabhu. And also middle of the night for Marianne.
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
That's not so terrible. I get a little sleepy, but it's not bad.
Yes, 9 p.m. for me is getting late. For a lot of people, 9 p.m. is when they start to begin their evening, isn't it? But not for us. Not for us, Hare Krishnas. And before the invention of lighting, etc., I don't think, okay, there would be socializing or something in the evening, but to go late into the evening, I don't think there was so much that the people would do. They'd be up early and rest with the night and up with the night. Certainly in India, when we were there with no electricity, it was very much by the sun and no sun, daylight, nighttime. All right, dear devotees, we've come together and we've coming together also. Priyananda Devidasi joined us also, Sevarupa Devidasi joined us, and Praneshwari Devidasi, always taking good care of us all. And Muktinath Prabhu is just entering. We'll let Muktinath Prabhu arrive. And then we will begin with some auspicious invocation. And we'll let Muktinath Prabhu know that his $8 made in China loudspeaker is the best. We remember you constantly. It's what we use in the temple room. And Sevarupa Devidasi knows that loudspeaker too, that triangle loudspeaker. All right. You're known not only for the loudspeaker, Muktinath Prabhu, for your seva attitude, everything we appreciate. All right. So let us in seva follow the guidelines of our masters and let us chant Vandeham, Om Gyan, Namo Maha, and Vanchikalpa, those standard mini Vandanam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitanscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome to you all, and in the meantime Dana and Gangalila and Rustin have all come to join us. You're all very welcome. And just as we mentioned, Dana K is sending her bouquet of flowers, hearts, and well wishes and obeisances were received happily, and Dustin sending a heart with stars in it. Wonderful. All right, so we're back to basics, and we're always coming across expressions of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and of Srila Prabhupada, of course. This is our grand trio that's come to make history. History, I wonder, in 1,000 years or 500 years' time, 1,000 years' time, I wonder what will be written there in the Gaudiya Vaishnava books, in the spiritual books. There's going to be great glorification of these three masters. How Krishna consciousness, how Mahaprabhu's message did come to all corners of the world. And I was thinking just yesterday about how Mahaprabhu predicted and said that the name should reach every, in Guru Maharaj's words, nook and corner, which I think all of you know good English here. Nook and corner means every last place, like when we were doing Gundicha Marjanam, trying to clean every smallest place, every hidden place, every nook and corner. But every nook and corner of the world, then Mahaprabhu's name will be chanted and preached. And then we think that really it has happened. And through television, through media, in many ways. And yesterday, or perhaps it was the day before, I'm not sure, but I saw it yesterday, that Praneshwari Devirasi, she shared with me a YouTube video of an orchestra, singing, an orchestra and a singer, pure classic music, I mean, very classical music, of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And really, I was quite surprised to see that. And actually, that thought has kept on going around in my mind. It's only yesterday evening that I saw that. And then even as I'm resting, I'm thinking how amazing that a classical orchestra and professional singer, they are very heartily chanting Hare Krishna. We think, how can that be? So anyway, here we are in the world. And the message of Mahaprabhu has come through Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, has come from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which came from the heart of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, which has come from the line of the whole exalted line of Rupa Goswami's Sampradaya, and which has come from Mahaprabhu. And this is now right there with us, available for us. And so all these expressions coming from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, how we only need faith, we only need to surrender, we only need sadhu sangha, we only need connection with the upper world. We only need so many, like only need items that we come across during our listening and during our reading. And sometimes we only need a simple heart and engage in savor as has been instructed to us. So simple heart is a good qualification. Sometimes when we see the wonderful way that so many devotees, they are able to memorize and quote Sanskrit verses and actually know the meaning of them, as not as just decoration, but they know their meaning, then we can think, oh, we can never touch that. How can we ever be there? But we can be who we are, and we can take some solace in the fact that it doesn't take vast learning, and it doesn't take vast energy in the sense of like physical energy, in the sense of like fasting or yoga, physical yoga practices and austerities and like this. But rather what it takes is that simple transaction of a clean-hearted faith. Faith in the holy name, faith in the Vaishnavas, faith in Seva, faith in surrender, faith in Krishna, faith in Gauranga, faith in Nityananda, faith in the Guru Vaga, faith in the Vaishnavas. Faith, faith, faith. So, oh, I see 3 chats in the chat box. Let me go to the chat and see if there's, oh, they're all.
Priyanana Maharaj. Priyanana is the first one.
Priyanana, talking of no sun, white nights in St. Petersburg. Yes, now white nights, and soon you're going to have black days. Just see, that's St. Petersburg. And we've been there with the white nights, and we've been there, and the days aren't fully black. Just as the nights are, it isn't actually sunshine, but you can't see the sun, but it's fully daylight. But similarly, in the middle of winter, it's not actually black in the middle of the day, but it is definitely not bright in the middle of the day. Such is the nature, 6 months daytime, 6 months nighttime. But you go north of St. Petersburg and you do get black days. Murmansk. I remember Avadut Maharaj sending pictures from midday to Srila Gurudev at Christmas time. Of course, now many years ago, but Gurudev seeing these photographs, and beside a statue of a reindeer. They'd have so many reindeers, not sure quite why they needed a statue, but anyway, he was standing with some devotees by a statue of a reindeer in Murmansk at midday at Christmas time, and sending some message to Srila Gurudev. And Gurudev definitely happy and showing people the devotees. Holy Trinity forever. Jai Praneshri Devi Rasi. All right. Any question from anybody? I used to go early in the morning each day to Srila Gurudev. Now I've come early in the morning to meet you all. So how will you engage me in service?
Maharaj, you're coming, excuse me, you're coming to us to take us to Gurudev. That's our fortune. That's our fortune. Yes, Priyanana.
Maharaj?
I think, yes, Marianne has something
okay.
to say.
I was just going to ask if you would tell us your story of how you came to Krishna consciousness.
I think everybody here can tell you my story of how I came to Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
But I have to say, I sometimes read and I'm shown something, and it's like introducing me for some program or something. And I am interested to see some descriptions of myself, of how I came to Krishna consciousness. So if you ask the devotees here, may each of them give you a little different version of how I came to Krishna consciousness. And I've had some quite extraordinary, well, one particularly extraordinary interview, and it was for TV, it was for television, and it was quite unusual. And their briefing about me was quite extraordinary. So it just threw me off, and then I really had to try to understand why they were asking me these questions. And it was because the bio that had been given, the biography that had been given to them was really extraordinary. And after that interview, it went ahead, but I was just quite surprised. And one of the interviewers, yes, the person who was interviewing, then afterwards came with us, with our little group, and came to the park and continued, was like positively interested in what we were doing. I don't know what happened, if they kept up contact with her, but she came, a mature lady, and to television interview, and she came into the park nearby with us, with the group of devotees. So not only reaching the public, but reaching the people who were interviewing us. I think it was a little, I mean, it's different to interview people about something, so extraordinary as, eternal, joyful life, Krishna consciousness, etc. It's quite different than interviewing people about, who knows, political things and fashion or whatever it is that they're accustomed to doing. Anyhow, Paramananda Prabhu joined, Dandabad. Paramananda Prabhu, I don't know, we've been missing you, I've been missing you in different places, but Paramananda was very active Vaishnava, and he's now again back in Japan and doing all the things that active people have to do to keep everything going and flowing. So he's back in Japan and everything Krishna related, doing business there. So good to have you with us, Paramananda Prabhu. And in answer to Marianne, I shouldn't not answer her question, but in just basically the reality of my coming to appreciate Krishna consciousness was from the beginning, and which really was the change of my life, was one book. And I read it actually because there was nothing else that looked interesting or even half interesting to read. And it didn't even look so interesting to read, really. In our youth time, we'd read some, spiritual books from the East, and they hadn't really touched a chord in me, except that clearly that in the East there are yogis who can do so many things, and that by the power of meditation, the power of austerities, the power of yoga, etc., then they can do many things, that there is a subtle, powerful plane. But everything I'd read before, anything I'd read before, coming from the established yogis of the East, it sounded wonderful, but I thought, well, I could never do what they are saying you have to do. Raising the kundalini up the spine, meditating and eating, a few leaves every 2 days or something. I mean, they're saying things which no doubt somebody is getting a lot of life and inspiration from, but, I couldn't do it. I mean, it just seemed like, okay, I'm reading about somebody else's life, not about my life. But when I read Srila Prabhupada's book, which was simply on a bookshelf, and I was bored, just quite frankly. I used to run safaris, and first of all assist safaris, then run safaris in Africa. And I was between two contracts and just waiting for the next safari. So I had a few days, and what am I going to do? I'll do something. And there's some books to read. And I did read another book from the shelf first. And then I just looked to see and thought, okay, better than the sound of the other books here. And that one book, which I just read almost, practically out of boredom, well, I'll read something during this time. It really resonated with my heart. And then very quickly, I just felt, oh, this is extraordinary. That somebody knows what our life is about. It's not speculation. It's all just down to earth in the sense of down to earth, but also very exalted, but very realistic, very practical, honest, and actually, really, it came across that the author of this book knew what he's talking about. He was talking from an actual plane of understanding of what is spiritual life, and not dreaming or showing off or claiming something, but rather making actual spiritual life a reality for everyone, and pointing out what is going on in the world without direction, without a positive direction. So from the negative side, he's making things very clear without any malice or anything. And from the positive side, he's making everything very clear with all good hope. And really, it was within quite a short while reading that book. Sometimes I say 3 or 4 chapters, something like that, early on in the book. Then it was just so clear to me that the author of this book really does have something to say, and something to say which is like very valuable. And reading that book, I quickly became vegetarian and quickly tried to chant Hare Krishna, and then wanted to meet the author. I think naturally that would be, who wrote this book? We want to meet him. So that is the beginning. And I think one thing that I can say, and it's not to my credit, but that just a realized fact is that for me, I understand that it was a little automatic to do it, but to put into practice what we hear is good advice, is going to make all the difference, not just to hear about, being vegetarian, offering our food, chanting Hare Krishna, etc., but to do it in whatever circumstance you're in. And then somehow, just by doing that, then after all, they've given us the advice of what to do. So when we do it, when it's coming from a real source and it's a proper advice, then we can expect you'll get some result. If you read a book about how to make electricity, and you get the iron core, and then you get the copper wire and wrap it around, and then you get magnet and this, that, and other, pass it by. Then if you follow the instructions, you'll get some electricity, and then get a little light bulb, and then you see the result. So if we follow the instructions of how to organize our lives in different ways, then we will get the result. Okay, it's not exactly calculating. We're not exactly, coming to do something so I get a result. But especially in the beginning, we have to say that, it's a life-changing, I don't want to say revelation, because that means something more, but life-changing inspiration to hear from a pure soul and hear their advice and put that advice into practice. And as our bookbinder in Calcutta used to say, an ounce of practice is worth a ton of theory, or in today's language it would be, a gram of practice is worth a ton, or still a ton, yes, a ton of theory. 1,000 kilograms of theory. So this is how I came. And I mean, I was surprised. I stopped eating meat. Mainly my ego, I suppose, was hurt. Srila Prabhupada, he was putting forward very simply about meat, killing animals, unnecessarily killing animals, this, that, and the other. And he said, but everyone is simply addicted to eating meat. And I just thought, I'm not addicted to eating meat. I've just been brought up from the age of, I don't know how many months, 9 months, a year or something. Then you're taught that, a wholesome meal, a meal is not complete without meat, things like this. So, I just said, I'm not addicted. And then seeing what is meat from the perspective of Srila Prabhupada, from the perspective of do unto others as I would have done unto oneself, things I'd heard as a youngster, but never kind of seen any proper application to it, except, don't cause suffering to your school friends. Don't cause them pain if you don't want pain to come to you, but never extend it to, the livestock and farming and all these things. Anyway, not to dwell on that one point, but, Srila Prabhupada also, got our ego going, well, I'm not addicted to eating meat, and just stopped eating meat and never felt any desire to eat it. And then within a short time after that, I was a guest at a Christian missionary, and like a senior missionary place in northern Kenya. And anyhow, as we were traveling, I was doing the safaris, I already told you. And one time I was a guest at a missionary, senior missionaries in the north of Kenya. And I was kind of obliged to eat meat. I wasn't strong enough in the face of the Christian to say, well, I don't eat meat because it's doesn't please God or something. I was too young in my Krishna consciousness, to face that. And especially, you're there with like respectable priest person who's leading the local people, etc. And I ate meat one evening, and I can tell you, it was terrible. And I had, it was just, not only the eating the meat part, but the dreams in the night and everything that came. And I was surprised. And that again, I suppose Krishna is giving us some like confirmation of everything. And but anyway, from then on, came forward. So how we came, there you are. You got it straight from the horse's mouth. And I've read other versions of how I've come, so I'll stick with the one I just mentioned you. Ganga Leela Devidasi to everyone. And did you quit your job, the safari? Was it killing animals or photo safari? Oh, it was absolutely photo safari. Yes, definitely not killing animals. And really, I mean, we are young. We were seeing the world, experiencing the world. No, it was very much, seeing other cultures, seeing other people. And also, I never went to South Africa. And at that time, South Africa was under apartheid. And it was the very opposite of what our hope was with the safaris, which was to, to meet people, different lifestyles, and this, that, and the other. But the idea of apartheid, it was just, the opposite. That's not why we were going around. We were going around to see people in their proper environment, if you like. So I never ever went to South Africa, even though we had the opportunity, of course, I mean, not necessarily of course, but we had the opportunity because we didn't want to really have anything to do with what we are thinking is exploitation. Now we know the whole world is exploitation. So it was photo safaris, and, I don't know what you want me to say about the safaris, but we did the best safaris in Africa. Not as far as luxury safaris go, but I mean, we did the best safaris. And again, the credit goes to our boss. means he was a boss but friend, and he had, it's a long story. Anyway, we did the best safaris, and really looking back, then that was also like a mundane choice. But I thought then, well, in the future, you can see the writing, that, what does it say? See in between the lines of the writing. I forget what the expression is, but you can kind of guess in future, we won't be able to do these kind of things, to have such extensive traveling and easy traveling, because, we saw the news when we're teenagers and everything, and the world, had its threatening side to it at that time. So it's nothing new about, instability of the world. And so I had the opportunity. And so taking the opportunity, then we went first as an assistant on the safaris, and then to run safaris. And so took that opportunity. And later on, we see so many things advised in the scripture to do, and so many things not to do. And one of the things it mentions, well, the Chanaka Pandit mentions in particular, 3 things to cure, to stop immediately, to attend to immediately. And one is fire. If fire starts up, quickly put it out. Otherwise, you've got a problem. Okay, we don't have to explain that too much if you've ever seen a house on fire. And the second one is health. That with health, you should cure your health immediately. Otherwise, as even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta points out, we all know that if we don't, then things become chronic and get out of control. So we should attend to health immediately. And the third one is debt, not to get into loan, not to borrow anything. And if you have any debt, you have to repay, as soon as possible, repay that debt. And looking back on my own life, the things that I was able to do, I can say that by Krishna's grace, we were never tempted to get credit card as our, teenager friends were doing. They were getting credit cards and getting themselves into all sorts of commitments at a young age. But I just thought, okay, they can live more, with some more expensive things, but I can also live, but with what I have. So luckily, by good fortune, I was not in debt. And so was able to immediately do many things. When an opportunity comes up, yes, I'm ready. And hence did the safaris and did other things too, which you wouldn't be able to do if you have to have a guaranteed regular income or something. And we did the safaris also not for money, but definitely not for money. But money came automatically. We did them because we had that opportunity to do safaris. I suppose, who wouldn't want to do safari? A city boy, I know. Anyway, we weren't city boys. We just, we have a mini adventure arranged for next week. It's a secret, don't tell anybody. But then we're thinking, okay, who will come on this? Because we can't have many people. And then I suggested one of our young devotees, who's now you're going to know who it is. One of our young devotees who is just visiting us for a few weeks from Latvia, Hari Gopal, mention his name. And I said, well, he's young and like sporty and everything. And Munindra said, no, he's city boy. He'll not make it. Hare Krishna. All right, let's come to Krishna consciousness. But we can learn from past experience, and we can see some things when we read the scripture that it gives a tick mark in the heart. Like, don't get into debt. If you do, immediately try to pay it off. Live within your means. And so many things which we've seen in our life, that these are very practical. I mean, just practical things to do. And Srila Prabhupada in his books, very practical. And presently coming to Guru Maharaj, very practical. Strong common sense. Strong common sense. Srila Guru Maharaj was described in this way. On it. Yes.
Dear Maharaj, yes. I would like to invite Marianne to read the chat for us.
Oh, okay. I shall not read it, yes.
No, Maharaj, not you.
But you'll have to turn on your microphone, Marianne.
So starting with a glimpse into the nature of an inspiring and humble devotee.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, divine guidance forward. If anything.
But just no, this is not his words, right? So
it's in the foreword
of
this book by Srila Govinda Maharaj.
Huh? Oh, it's by Govinda Maharaj, is it?
No, I mean, the book is by Srila Govinda Maharaj, and this section is the foreword written by someone else. But I want Marianne to read this.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because
it's from this book, yes.
Yes.
Okay. If anything is lacking in this book, please know clearly that it is due only to my own failings. But certainly within these pages, there is much of eternal value. And I request the reader to focus upon the substance given by our divine master and overlook the shortcomings in its being relayed in the printed form. Asking that all the Vaishnavas may accept my obeisances humbly, Mahananda, Das Bhakti Rajan Krishna Ekadasi, May 1993. So that's you.
Yes.
How do you know that's me?
I have seen previously that was your name before you took the I assume. Huh?
Hare Krishna. Anyway, that was me. From other reports I hear about me, that may not be me now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pranashvari.
And Gangalila put in the reading between the lines. Yes, reading between the lines is the English expression for understanding beyond what is written directly in black and white, but what's being shown, something else. Hey Govinda, hey Gopal. Okay, Praneshri Devirasi, a little mischievous this morning. Very lively.
Maharaj, that was a glimpse of the nature of an inspiring devotee.
Hare Krishna. Gurudev also a little mischievous sometimes. And yesterday we explained, and about Gurudev's nature, yesterday we were explaining, actually to our Hari Gopal Prabhu, we were explaining to him about how prasadam time, when honoring prasadam, then we're not asking, I want, you don't call the server, I want more, I want that, like that. This is not the etiquette for prasad. Prasadam is distributed, it is given out of affection. And whatever is given, we receive out of affection. And don't worry, the devotees are generous in their hand of distributing prasadam. Don't think you're going to be malnourished and all these things. You're going to be the opposite in the association of devotees. But in the course of chatting with our Prabhu, he's 20, by the way, for those who don't know of him, he's 22 years old, he's bright, and I've known him from, I think he was in India maybe 3 or 4 years, I mean, quite a while, with his mother. And when he was 9 years old, he and his little sister, and they were there in Navadip when they were young children. And so I've known him for donkey's years. And anyway, he's now 22 years old, and he's bright, and he won't mind that I mention about him. He'll take it on the chin happily. He's bright. He's now tall. He used to be small when he was 9. He's now way taller than me. It happens in the world. And so I explained to him that Gurudev's like little bit mischievous nature was, if he was taking prasadam with someone, and which often was the case, and then Gurudev, he would like some more something, shak, some more spinach, for instance. Then he'll say to the devotee who's with him, but, kind of genuinely, would you like some more shak, Prabhu? Oh, yes, I would. So then he'll call over his, how he would affectionately say, his koka, his servitor, call over his servitor, said, oh, Prabhu, please bring some shak. And Prabhu here, he'd like some shak. And then comes over. And then as he's giving shak to the devotee with him, then naturally the server said, Gurudev, would you like some? Oh, yes, I'll take some shak too. Thank you. So, I mean, this is Srila Gurudev's mischievous way, cheeky way around the idea that you're asking for oneself. But in a previous, maybe 250 back to basics ago, I don't know, because there are so many there now, we did go through like the process of offering prasad and honoring prasadam. And mentioned a verse there, a verse that Hari Charan Prabhu used to recite and tell us about. And that, I don't know the Bengali of it, he would say it in Bengali, and it was also a humorous verse. But it was about the method of distributing prasad. And that is the server or servers, first of all, everyone lines up in like seniority. Okay, you can challenge what is seniority. We won't go there, but there is a seniority of the older devotees, the sannyasis, the red-clad brahmacharis, the white-clad brahmacharis. This way, and then in how long they've been in the mission, there is etiquette. Mahaprabhu followed some etiquette and wanted that the devotees will follow etiquette and chastised when they didn't. And Gurudev, in Navadip, we also followed etiquette. There would be this sitting order. And then the server comes, and then he's serving a medium, small to medium portion, not big portion, but the same to everybody. So first will come the bitter, then the shak, the green vegetable, then the rice, then the dal, then the sabji, then the chutney, like this. But serving a medium portion to everybody. So then goes around in the order that we were just mentioning. And then after everyone's got their medium portion, then the server, he knows what's left in the pots, he knows what's available to serve, and then with that he comes, and then again, as the plates are being honored, I won't say consumed, as the quantity on the plates is mystically going down, then the server comes with what is available to again offer. And not just stand there, who wants more? Not like that. He'll come and offer to everyone down the line. And offer means with the spoon, come with the spoon to put on the plate. So, coming to offer it, not just by mouth to say, do you want, but come to offer. And then the devotee, they'll say no, or they say either, nothing, or yes, or no. Okay, it's quite reasonable, isn't it? And when they come, and they say, no, thank you. Oh, thank you, yes. So they're accepting. But this verse says that the etiquette of the offerer is that if they're offering and the devotee is saying yes, then they're giving naturally. Yes, I'll have more rice, thank you. And if they say no, and just gently kind of putting the hand no, then the offerer will give to them, a kind of go more, and then, sorry, the offerer may or may not give them. That is an option, may or may not. But if you just gently say no, it's like polite. So the offerer generally will give to the person. They're just being polite. Oh, no, thank you. And please, here you have, okay. But if you, with two hands, like, and mentioning like tiger's claws, if with your two hands you say no, and covering your plate, then the offerer, distributor, will not give to you. Good. Okay, they don't want it. So they're not being polite, they don't want it, and not going to force on them. So this way, the server is going on. But if anybody, while he's serving, says, oh, Prabhu, I want some sabji, then the server does not give it. Just see, that was in that sloka. Because prasadam is not what I want, it is what is given. And it was very sweet to be served in this way. And offering prasadam and honoring prasadam are two of the loving relationships between the Vaishnavas, listed by none other than Rupa Goswami. And that's 2 out of 6. That's 33% of our loving relationship with the Vaishnavas. So we should try to keep this etiquette in our life of offering prasadam and accepting prasadam, honoring it in that way. Okay, this came from giving an example of Gurudev's like mischievous way of having more shak, but we don't have more shak during this month, do we? Because it's the first month of Chaturmasya when we don't eat green leafy vegetables. For those who do know, but again, we saw that in the mat, most of these we don't do things for 1 month, etc., were followed for the first 3 days of the month as a remembrance and as a token gesture. But we are not followers of strict vidhi that, oh, we are only going to do like this. Oh, now I've broken it. Now I have to do some penance because I've accidentally taken some shak on the 29th day of the month, etc. We are not trying to follow that kind of spiritual life. We want to follow the affectionate guidance, affectionate spiritual life given by our masters. Okay, so I was deflecting some of the cheekiness of Praneshwari. Sorry, that's not an insult there. Affectionate cheekiness, to slip in that quote asking Marianne to read it. I was deflecting some of that to Gurudev's gentle and sweet nature. Hare Krishna.
We wouldn't have expected anything different.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Well, Priyanana Devidasi was going to say something before, so she has something queued up, or did have something queued up.
I just, yesterday we had this Saturday open doors day, and an interesting question popped up, and I thought, like, what's your opinion on that? Like, we know that there is Paramatma in everybody, like super soul, but usually Paramatma is considered to be a form of Vishnu, like Vishnu expands himself, like first in like every universe, and then like in every being, or something like this. So it's Vishnu. But then someone said, oh no, I think one of our brahmacharis said, that for those who worship Krishna, it's Krishna in their heart, not Vishnu. I mean, it sounds a bit like scientific question, but then we remember these expressions like the Lord reveals himself according to like he's taking that form that the devotee wants him to see. For example, like Prahlad Maharaj, it was Narasimhadev who protected him, or like yesterday was disappearance of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and according to his heart, from Shalagram Shila, Radharaman revealed himself. So I thought, wow, it's an interesting idea that actually for the devotees, or like if you worship some particular form of the Lord, it's not Vishnu, but it's that form in your heart. I mean, not instead of super soul, but like, what do you think?
Well, there is somebody with us whose name was Paramatma Prabhu.
Yep.
And then he received, so you heard about Mahananda, but one Paramatma Prabhu, he received mercy and he received the name Paramananda Prabhu. So I think this question can come to him because he's been all too silent in our recent back to basics. Are you available, Paramananda Prabhu? Say yes. With the microphone on.
Oh, Maharaj, I was hoping you're not gonna do that. So yes, I was upgraded.
To Parama Ananda. It doesn't get better than that. Okay. Yes, sorry, Prabhu. Carry on.
Well, I haven't catched the whole question. So if Priyanana kindly repeat it for me, I would really appreciate that.
Dhanavad. In short, the question is that usually we have super soul in like everyone's heart, and it's Vishnu who expands himself. But for the devotees, it's like Krishna or that form of the Lord whom they worship, like something like this.
Yeah, but
not Vishnu.
Well, in this case, regardless, he is present as a witness. There are two functions. One is a witness of the Jiva soul's condition, Jiva soul's deeds. The example everyone knows about, two birds, one enjoying the fruits, one is observing, sitting on the branch. And another function Paramatma performs is the Chaitya Guru function, giving inspiration to Jiva souls. And really it's all in Gurudev's words, and we just finished reading that chapter, Achintya, when he lists the whole infinite list. And he says, I could go on saying what is Achintya, how does it function, when it starts acting as a Chaitya Guru, when it abandons her duties as just a silent witness of actions of the Jiva. So it is present regardless in every living being. It's one of the, we can say, representation of the Lord's manifested in this world for his own purpose, Lila purpose. Everything is a Lila purpose. He's not doing any jobs. None of the Vishnu forms doing any jobs whatsoever. And I think you're talking about when Krishna enters the heart of a devotee, actual Krishna. Well, that happens when one is actually flooded with Krishna prema, love for Krishna. That's when it happens. And like you mentioned, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, there's one statement, he says that I reveal myself according to the degree of surrender. To that much degree, I will reveal myself to my devotee. And another place, he is saying that I fulfill a heartfelt desires of a certain rasa, certain relationship with me. I reciprocate with my devotee. I grant him that wish. So our goal, ideally, like Srila Govinda Maharaj puts it, to put a carpet so that Krishna and him and Mahaprabhu would dance. Srila Gurudev quotes it. He's saying that would dance in our heart, would reside there forever. So it's a lifetime in preparation. Like today we were talking about Praneshwar Didi saying that our lifetime is how to learn to serve. But I think it's more like how to learn. We're learning to love. We're learning to rediscover, actually. No, not even learning, it's impossible to learn, but to remember how to love. And to love someone, you have to know that person. So closer you get to God, the closer you know him, the humbler you'll become. And then there is nothing you can do on your side that can force Krishna Prema enter your heart. It can force him enter your heart, but the love. And that cannot be forced too. So then there is a verse, Savaipum Samparo Dharmo, Yatobaktirat Hokshaji, Ahaitukia Pratihataya Yatma Suprasiditi. So it is Ahaitukia Pratihata. It just enters without any cause one day, and it's unstoppable. There's nothing you can do about it. This is how Krishna acts. He just forcefully enters the heart. He can break rules he created himself. He also states that in Brihad Bhagavatamritam repeatedly. I can break those rules, even though I'm trying my best to follow my own rules that I created. But sometimes I run out of patience, and I forcibly entering the heart of my devotees. And that is, again, our great hope. And there is another beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, but quoted by Kaviraj Goswami. When Krishna is seeing that devotee is having some kind of a mundane desire, still he is hooked by those anchors of karma. So he is desiring for something material. And undoubtedly, it is said there, Krishna fulfills one's devotee desire. But once enjoy the fruits of that desire, when it is fulfilled, when devotee petition him again and again to fulfill further desires, Krishna, out of love for him, not only grants him that wish, but forcefully gives him shelter at his lotus feet. And that's another very hopeful statement of the Shastra and the Sadhu. So yes, Paramatma will always be there, but it's just a function of Paramatma. But when once entered the world of Krishna Prema, whatever happens in this world is not for him. It's overruled completely. Nothing works as it used to work before. So real Paramatma sees the action or whatever duty, I don't know, not duties, but whatever Paramatma should do in the heart of that person, I do not know. But certainly it will be present. In what form will be absorbed into the Lord entering the heart when he starts his dance in the courtyard of our heart, beautifully expressed by Rupa Goswami. Because as soon as the holy name comes and overwhelms us, and that means Krishna Prema, our mind stops functioning and our senses stop functioning. Everything just stops. And then the law is different. It's the law of Vaikuntha, the law of Galoka, according to the rasa, according to the relationship of that devotee with the Lord. That's what I have heard. But what happens then with Paramatma, when that actually happened with the devotee, I do not know. Maharaj,
Yes.
Anything else?
And every day we are meditating on Lord Chaitanya's Vishvambar. He's running everything. So he's also, if he's running everything, he must be running in the devotee's heart too. So you are mentioning Krishna, but Mahaprabhu, he knows everything. He sees everything. So we mustn't be too materially scientific, if you like, that, oh, it is exactly Vishnu, or it is exactly like this. The Lord is in the heart. And Mahaprabhu knows everything. Otherwise, how is it that when Sanatana Goswami came over to Puri, and then he came through the Jharakanda forest, and there in the Jharakanda forest, he got all these sores on his body. Then he resolved, after Mahaprabhu had embraced him on arriving in Puri, then Sanatan resolved to commit suicide. He said, oh, I'm the biggest sinner, that this infected body, I've allowed Mahaprabhu to touch it. I came here for good things, and instead I'm just making offense by my presence. I'm going to commit suicide. But Mahaprabhu knows everything. So how are you going to start analyzing all the, oh, but it's Vishnu, not Mahaprabhu, this. The Lord knows everything. And the Lord, to some, Vishnu, but the Lord is in his highest aspect and most generous aspect, who knows everything of our inner thought. It is Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundar, most generous Lord. And then he starts to give a lecture to Sanatan Goswami. And there's Sanatan thinking, how could the Lord know my mind? But the Lord knows. So we mustn't limit ourselves and think that Vishnu is separate in that sense. It is all achintya, it's inconceivable in the upper plane.
Actually, Vishnu also knows the heart of the devotee of Krishna, as we see on a beautiful example of Gopakumar arriving to Vaikuntha. He's been tested by Lord Vishnu himself, who already knows. I mean, he's there. Any part or a particle of Vishnu functioning as fully as Vishnu. So he knows what's in the heart, in any case. And then he is saying, then, can you stay with me? And then he adds, forever. It's a test. And Gopakumar he's thinking, oh, I'm so happy here. Yes, I think I can stay forever. But then already he knows that in the heart, he is not my devotee. His heart belongs to Krishna of Goloka. It's all expressed there very beautifully. So it is not, like Maharaj said, we should not analyze that. It is really belongs to the realm of achintya. Adhokshaja achintya. Inconceivable.
In one sense, I don't want to advertise it, because I don't want to take everyone's attention away from Chaitanya Charitamrita and the books of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. So I'm not going to advertise it. I'm just going to say, because we're with Paramananda, and the last reading that I had of Brihad Bhagavatamrita was with Paramananda Prabhu in Govinda Farm, and I mean, wonderful evenings of Brihad Bhagavatamritam reading. And now for some time here in Vila Govinda Ashram, the evening reading is Brihad Bhagavatamritam. And we're reading every word, every purport of every verse, and really it's so wonderful. But it's not, dear devotees, it's not the first book to read. And that doesn't mean we're saying, oh, we're advanced devotees, we're reading it, but we have been, reading Srila Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And this, I'm so happy to say, because we felt it was so nicely presented. This book is presented by Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, who Goswami Maharaj is giving very nice glorification to as translator and humble and sincere. And really, it feels like that when we come through. So again, it's Srila Prabhupada's mercy coming through the devotees, and to know that like a non-offensive, humble, sincere devotee presented that, then we are feeling comfortable to read Brihad Bhagavatamritam with purports by Sanatan Goswami. It really is wonderful. Paramananda left. Oh, just see the sadhus, they can arrive and they can leave just like that. Mahaprabhu sometimes went away and the devotees fainting, and he didn't even look behind to say goodbye. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, this is the nature of the pure devotees, that sometimes their hearts as soft as a lotus flower, lotus petal, and sometimes appearing hard like a thunderbolt. And by the way, in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, there's when an extraordinary, the whole thing's extraordinary, okay, but anyway, an extraordinary section where it's in the first, we're in the first part of 3 parts of the book, and Krishna is lamenting himself, and it's saying the tears are flowing from Krishna's eyes, and he is lamenting after hearing a description of how he has abandoned the gopis in Vrindavan and has been living the royal life for so many years. And then Krishna's heart like becomes very soft, and but he is in separation from his devotees. And then his description about himself is not as stone-hearted or hard-hearted or iron-hearted, the expressions we've heard, he says. And when I first was read it, and we're reading aloud in the temple room, he said, I have a diamond heart. We usually think diamonds, oh, they're wonderful. Oh, diamond must be Kohinoor diamond or something like this, or wonderful. And he said, but he's saying, my heart must be diamond heart because it's just unbreakable. And then we think, oh yeah, diamonds, they're like maybe the hardest thing known to man. I don't know, the hard natural thing known to man. But Krishna is saying that my heart is a diamond heart because I did this cruel thing to the devotees. And there also many beautiful expressions, but pointing out that a lower section, a lower nature person are always thinking of their own satisfaction. But the higher nature of person are always thinking of others' satisfaction, which just a simple statement like that. Many things can jump out at us and think, yes, there's a wonderful definition, understanding of lower nature and higher nature. Hare Krishna, but we can't stop these clocks from going by, and the world continues, and we're happy, of course, happy to be in the association of each of you, and we've greeted most of you, but Suresh Krishna Prabhu has sneaked into our gathering from Latvia. He's come here, and Anu Krishna Devidasi joined us. I think she was here a little while ago, perhaps too, and Olya has joined us from southern Russia. And so a big welcome to each of you. Anu Krishna, late in the night, oh my goodness, midnight in Brazil. Well done. And Sudevi Dasi in Australia, Govinda Dham. Welcome. And we were with the Australians a couple of days ago, happily with the Australians.
And
okay.
Maharaj, showers of obeisances from Tungarasa, Devidasi, Jagamohini, Didi, Mathuravasini, and Premasindhu Prabhu.
And my showers of obeisances being returned. And please excuse, I've had so much difficulty with Facebook recently. I didn't even think to turn it on this time, but I think it's working. I think I got it working again. And anyway, let's not wonder why it is, but I do wonder whether it's because I have it installed on 2 portable devices and then it's always giving trouble. But anyway, thank you, Praneshri, for sharing those, and to each of you there on Facebook and our exalted Vaishnava gathering on Facebook. Then to each of you, my obeisances, and wonderful to hear the purifying names, your purifying names, the names of the devotees. Hare Krishna. And also, of course, by hearing, not only hearing your name, but remembering you and devotional qualities of the devotees. Hare Krishna. And Sudevi sending her obeisances to you all. And yes, precious devotees, a precious devotee gathering. Oh, Sudevi is there with Gaurangi, the cow. I think, oh, and somebody else, but they've got the sun behind. Who is with you?
Dandavat Maharaj, this is Sudarshan.
Oh, Sudarshan, I can only see a
Dhanwad,
bright
Maharaj.
light coming from you. I saw your photo a couple of days ago with the neem tree, with Premadas Prabhu with the neem tree. I was happy to see
Yeah,
you.
sort of, yes, we just finished the lunchtime arti just now.
You just
Just finished the Arati, Maharaj.
Understand,
Yeah.
lunchtime arti. Okay, so now you can
Yes,
practice distributing and accepting prasadam.
that's right. Yes,
Right.
yes.
Oh, now I can see you clearly. Yeah, the sun is now in a different place. Jai Surashan Prabhu.
Jai.
All right, to all of you good devotees there, my repeated obeisances and jais to our wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Ki jai to all of them, and ki jai to Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and the whole Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga, our head at their, all of their lotus feet. Jais to them all, and jais to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, ki jai to Mahaprabhu, to Nityananda, ki jai. Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar, the most worshipable deities of Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, and Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat of Guru Maharaj and Guru Dev, the home of our heart, and to Navadip, Sri Navadip Dham ki jai, to all the assembled devotees ki jai, to all of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda of the present age ki jai, and Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Bancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Okay, Leelamoy Prabhu, it's 10 past midnight. Time to go to bed. Some it's time to go to bed, some it's time to take prasadam, and some it's time to start them early morning programs. Okay, have a wonderful few days until we meet again. Have successful Seva days until we meet again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Nourishing as always, so special. Thank you for your question, Marianne. It's just like children. Children have a favorite story and they can listen to it again and again and again and again. So you ask and we know, but we want to hear again. Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam.
Right? Hare Krishna.
Dandava Pranam, Hare Krishna.